This is Newcap News with Bart Pediasic.
Good evening. Lloydminster residents will be going to the polls to elect a new MLA next month, and the Saskatchewan Party is preparing to announce their candidate after a party vote tomorrow. The party is planning on a big turnout at the Wild Rose Pavilion, as the city is home to almost 1,000 party members. Anyone with a Saskatchewan Party membership that was purchased 1 week prior to the meeting is eligible to vote. This year, 3 members are up for nomination.
Contested nominations are very important to the Saskatchewan Party. It's a chance for renewal within the membership. It's a chance for candidates to reach out, for candidates to campaign within the constituency, for them to get their names known. It's just a really, really good exercise.
The November by-election was called after former Lloydminster MLA Tim McMillan announced that he's leaving politics to become the president of the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers. The meeting will start at 2 p.m. with the results expected to be announced that night. It's a unique campaign that drives tractors and trailers throughout local communities across the country to raise donations for food banks. Today, the Farm Credit Canada Drive Away Hunger campaign made they stop at the Lloydminster Co-op to pick up this year's food bags.
Over 44,000 people use food banks on a monthly basis in the province of Alberta, and about 44% of those are children. In Saskatchewan, over 24,000 people use the food bank on a monthly basis.
Gordon Labosetta of Farm Credit Canada says there's a great need for food donations, especially after Thanksgiving.
The Lloydminster District Co-op has bags that are readily available. You can pay $5 or $10, and they're already prepackaged.
100% of donations here in the border city will go to the Lloydminster Salvation Army Food Bank. Last year, 2,000 pounds of food were collected.
All this week we'll be picking up the donations that our partners have collected. So here in the Lloydminster area, we partnered with the Edgerton Public School, we partnered with E.H. Walter School in Paradise Valley, as well as continued support from the co-op here.
The FCC began the campaign in 2004, raising more than 17.5 million pounds of food across Canada. This is the third year the organization has partnered with the Lloydminster and District Co-op. The Indigenous Economic Partnership Summit wrapped up its second and final day in Lloydminster today. After 2 days of discussions and networking, organizers say it was a good first step towards changes in the future. Jeremy Thompson reports.
With the final panel of the summit over, those who took part are looking back to the lessons they've learned over the past 2 days. The need for more higher education was a hot topic.
Sport gave me the motivation to get there, to keep the grades good enough, because I wasn't a good student. But by the time I was done in university and college, they had tricked me into getting an education.
You're going to need some sort of education. Nowadays, with the amount of competition out there for jobs, especially for top-level jobs, they want to have some sort of, for lack of a better term, piece of paper on the wall.
Access to education, as well as a community support system, will be important pieces of the puzzle moving forward. But organizers say change will come slowly.
You get enough people in the same room a few times, maybe the time isn't right now, or you create a contact that something happens after this.
Instead of inventing the wheel on our own, let's try and find if we can actually be partners with business that currently exists inside the economy and be partners with them.
The summit was a place to start a conversation about changing lives for the better.
The important thing is for people to understand that they need to work together, that you can't leave one segment of society behind.
Jeremy Thompson, Newcap News.
If you're hoping for a chance to have a scare on Halloween, Fort Wing will be setting up a haunted house again this year at the McKenzie School on base. More than $1,500 was raised for the Lakeland Humane Society last year. Fraser Snowden has more on what to expect.
This was the scene of last year, and this time around with more than enough sponsors to help out, organizers say they are stepping up the scare factor.
It's going to be much bigger floor space wise. It's going to be much bigger scares wise. It's going to have a lot more thrills. We have more volunteers, and the bag of candy at the end, well, we're going to make you earn it.
The team has been planning this year's Scare Factory for a couple of weeks now, including building new props like an operational guillotine and other things they want to keep for a surprise.
We're going to be running from the 29th of October to the 31st of October. We're going to be opening our doors at 5 and the doors are going to be closing at 9.
Forth is sure there will be more than enough screams this year. Parents can bring their trick-or-treaters through by donation, and once again, all proceeds will go to the Lakeland Humane Society.
They're building a new habitat this year, or next year, whenever they get the money. And so we just kind of want to help them towards that. We think that it's a worthy cause, and it's worth giving to.
Organizers hope to raise at least $3,000 this year.
I really don't want to give away too much of what's going to be in the maze, but you're going to be pretty surprised by some of the things that we put together.
In Cold Lake, Fraser Snowden, Newcap News.